welcome to Escape Wheel Watch Reviews. My name is Steve, and today we're looking at the new San Martin SN0103, or what I like to call the Speedy 57 homage for obvious reasons. So I purchased this watch with a slight discount from the San Martin official store on AliExpress. I still paid about $270, but that's the reason you would have seen the includes paid promotion up in this corner over here. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. The retail price for this watch is about $330. I've seen it drop to right around $300, maybe just under $300 during that last summer sale. So yeah, just keep an eye on that. I'm sure some of the other sales coming up, definitely like 11/11, you're going to see it drop below $300, I think. This watch comes in 6 different colorways. You have the blue sunburst dial you see here. You have a panda dial. You have a reverse panda or evil panda. You have a full matte black dial. You have a deep red dial, and then a green sunburst dial, and I think they all look really, really good. You also have the branded version. You have sterile, and then for like an extra $30 or $50, depending on the colors you choose, you can even add your own custom logo. So the watch is comprised of a 316L stainless steel case, sapphire crystal, it has a push-pull crown, a screw-down case back. It has 100 meters of claimed water resistance, stainless steel bracelet and clasp, and it is powered by the Seagull ST1901 mechanical chronograph movement. So San Martin's prices are starting to creep up there. $330 is a lot. But is it worth the price they're asking? Well, that's what we're here to find out. But before we dig in and do that, let's do a quick wrist check. I'm wearing the Pagani design. This is the vintage Air King homage. I forget the PD number. I'll put the PD number down here, and I'll put my review link right up here. Alright, so let's check out the dimensions. So this is listed as a 38.5 millimeter case, and that's exactly what it is. That is measured 38 and a half to the case. That's the actual case. The bezel protrudes just a little tiny bit, so the bezel is 39 and a half, 13 millimeters right on the dot. Lug tip to lug tip is 48 millimeters. So the end link to end link dimension is 51.9. And I removed one link from the bracelet to make it fit my 7.5 inch wrist, and the total weight is 152 grams. So the watch, I think, is a really good size. It's one of those sizes that's going to fit a lot of wrists. I kind of hoped it was 38 millimeters at the bezel, but yeah, definitely is 39 and a half. And I think it wears pretty similar to a 40 millimeter watch, and that's what you can kind of expect, right at the 150 grams as well. Pretty substantial. You got a bracelet that does taper down just a little bit, down to 18 millimeters, so it is a pretty heavy bracelet as well. But I think overall it looks pretty good on wrist. It wears really well. It's very, very comfortable. But yeah, I think it looks really good. So I'm going to go outside right now and throw it on my wrist for you. And here we are on my 7.5 inch wrist, and as you can see, it wears fine. Yeah, very comfortable bracelet. It feels balanced. You got a decent amount of curvature to the lugs there, so on kind of wider, flatter wrist, it's going to wear pretty good. But yeah, I think you get the light play off of the bezel and everything. I think it just looks really, really good. Very happy with the look of this thing on wrist. And out in some direct sunlight, you can see you got a really nice sunburst effect on this dial, and I believe the green is the only other one that's a sunburst. Looks really good. And you can see right here, still not really any trouble reading it, even direct sunlight. So very happy with how this thing looks. I am going to go throw this on a bunch of straps, and we'll get back to the review. Yeah, and here we are on a 2-stitch leather dark blue strap. I think it goes pretty well with this one. Looks pretty good. All the links for these straps will be down in the description. I believe this one is listed as vintage 2-stitch or something like that. So go check it out. Pretty nice strap for about $5 on AliExpress. But I got some more. And here is the vintage textured leather strap listed down below. This one's in gray. I think the gray and the blue really go well together. I think they look pretty good. I love the extra taper on this one. So yeah, looks really good. What do you think? And here we are on a Vario leather strap. Again, lots of taper. I think it looks really good on it. And the blue and the tan color always, I think, is a good combination, solid combination. So what do you guys think? Looks pretty good. And here we are on a Milanese strap. I think it works pretty good, actually. Not typically a fan of these, but this I think looks pretty good, actually. What do you guys think? I think I still like the leather better, but not bad. Got 2 more straps. And here we are on a fun summer color. This is a bright blue Perlon. Doesn't quite match exactly, but I still think it's a fun color. It gives you an idea of what it'll look like with a single layer underneath. Still sits pretty good, I think. And yeah, this is a very comfortable strap, and yeah, I do like these straps. Link is down below. And lastly, here we are on a nylon strap, 2 pieces underneath. You can see this is a pretty thick strap as well, and it still sits pretty good. Maybe a little bit high, but not too bad. Dark blue with a tan stripe. This is the single line Nato down below. But yeah, I think this combo looks pretty cool, very comfortable. But yeah, it does sit up a little bit high, especially when you're really trying to pronounce it like that. But normally, yeah, it's pretty good. And I do really like the colors on this one. What do you guys think? But let's go back inside and we'll get back to the review. Alright, so let's talk about the case finishing on this thing. So case finishing is done as you would expect from San Martin, very, very nicely. You have a vertical brushing on the top of the case here, and as you can see, it's very linear, very nice satin brushing. You have a horizontal brushing down the side of the case here. Again, really nicely done, very happy with that. You have polished pushers for your chronograph. You do have the San Martin hex crown here, which is nice to see. Then you've got this really nice polished transition from the tops to the sides. I think it looks really good, very sharp transition as you would expect from San Martin. Just a really good, very clean, crisp design, and yeah, they just nailed it. It looks absolutely beautiful. The case back on this, very simple. You got a circular brushing on the inside, polished on the outside, simple notches to get a tool in there, remove the case back if you really wanted to. I really wish they would do a display case back to show off the ST19. That would kind of complete this case, in my opinion. Otherwise, I mean, it's a case back, and you don't really see it all that often, so I'm not too fussed about it, but yeah, I think they should offer that option. And as you can see here, the bottom of the case, it is fully polished, and I think they've honed it down nicely. It's very comfortable to wear, like I mentioned earlier. The bezel on this, it's a tachymeter bezel, stainless steel. You can see it is a circular brushing. It's not a radial brushing, so it is circular all the way around here. You've got nice engravings here, filled in with black paint. Everything is done really good. Yeah, very happy with it overall. I see nothing really wrong with it. I'm not a tachymeter bezel expert, but yeah, I think everything looks pretty good. You see the bottom edge of it is polished here. Again, really nice polishing. You can see the reflection of the crown and the polishing there. I mean, just excellent. I mean, really, really good. Very, very happy with the case finishing on this thing. It's great, and it's exactly what I expected from San Martin. Yeah, let's talk about the crystal on this thing. As listed as sapphire, we will test it. I have no doubts. Yep, positive for sapphire. It's exactly what I expected. Anti-reflective coating. There's a blue tinge to it. Obviously on this model, it kind of blends right in. Might be a distraction on some of the other ones, but really, I think the blue is pretty minimal on this thing. The crystal is excellent. You can see it protrudes from the bezel a couple millimeters, I'd say. Really nice. Lots of distortion on the edges, but crystal clear in the middle where it counts. So very happy with the crystal. Let's talk about the dial on this thing. So like I mentioned earlier, it is offered in 6 different colors, so go check those out. This is the blue one, and I think it looks fantastic. It's a matte blue, but then it has the sunburst effect on it. Really nice sunburst effect. I think the blue they chose is really, really nice. It's pretty much exactly what I was wanting. It wasn't what I was expecting, but it was what I was wanting. So yeah, really happy with that. You can see the minute tracker on the outside is accented by a black ring there. I don't think it's a stepped dial or anything like that. It's just a different paint on it. Yeah, perfectly fine. I think everything is printed nicely on it. You have the applied San Martin hex here, which I think looks pretty good on this dial. You have ST19 in red, and then 100 meters, 330 feet printed down by the 6 o'clock. The applied indices are done again really, really nicely. Everything I think is aligned spot on. You have kind of a wider rectangle at 12, regular batons at all the other markers, and then you have this 2, 3, 4, and then 8, 9, and 10. They're shortened up. Obviously the 2 and the 4, 8 and the 10 are just slightly shorter than all the other markers. So yeah, I think they did really good. They didn't cut it at a funny angle or anything like that. So I think it looks pretty good. You've got your subdials here, which again, nicely done, nicely accented with the black ring around them, with the just simple 60, 20, 40 printing here on your running seconds. And then this dial over here, it is your chronograph minute counter. And again, you kind of have these alpha style hands for the subdials, and then you've got the broad arrow hands for the hours and minute hand. And I think those hands are sized perfectly. They're really nice. They're almost rounded. It's kind of hard to show, but you can see here how it just gradually, you get that light reflection gradually coming across. If they were flat, they'd all just light up at one point. So you can see they're just slightly rounded, and that makes them visible in pretty much any lighting. I think it looks great. Looks really, really good. Very happy with the length of the minute hand and the hour hand. Very happy with this dial setup in general. And yeah, I think it looks really good. The lume on this thing, I'm going to pop up a lume shot right now. And here you can see it against a couple of the other watches in my collection. And it holds its own. For a chronograph, this is definitely by far the best chronograph I have as far as lume goes. It does last all night long. It's a little bit dim at the end of the night, but I can still read it. So that is much better than I was expecting from a watch like this. So very happy with that. Again, San Martin did a really good job with this, filling it with BGW9 lume. Yeah, really happy with it. All right, so let's talk about the movement on this thing. So this movement is the Seagull ST1901, 2 registers. The 1902, I believe, is the 3 register. So this is just running seconds at 9, minute counter at 3, and then you've got your central chronograph second hand here, which you can see sweeping along really nicely. The action on these, it's the same on pretty much every watch I've had, and that's to say it's really good. So you have your start stop button up here, very nice clicks when you're starting and stopping it. And then the reset button down here, it's a little squishy. So I wish they would somehow get that thing nice and snappy, but it's definitely a little bit squishy, but it does snap right back. I mean, dead center alignment on that thing. It looks really good. You can see this minute hand here, it kind of ticks over at every minute. It doesn't gradually go around, so that's nice to see too. And all the minute track here is fully registered, so that's nice to see on that minute subdial there. As for setting the time, it is a push-pull crown, which is nice to see. They kind of messed it up on their 62 mass chronograph that they did with a screw-down crown. This one is just push-pull crown, so you can wind it up fully. Really nice. You got really good action on this crown too. Nice and grippy. Oh, I'm in the time setting position. Didn't realize that. But yeah, very happy with it. Very simple to use. The winding on this thing is super quiet, and that just lends me to believe that this is just a very solid case. I can definitely hear it on my Alpha, which I happen to have right here. I can hear it winding on the Alpha. I cannot hear winding unless I get really, really close to it. So yeah, very solid case, very solid feeling, very smooth. I've got no problems with it, and I'm going to pop up the time grapher shot right here. Early on, it was running plus 2 seconds, but this is what it's running now. I don't even know, but I'll leave that up here for you. All right, so let's talk about the bracelet on this thing. So like I mentioned earlier, it is 20 millimeters, does taper down to 18. I had to remove one link for my 7.5 inch wrist. You can see here you have polished on the outer links here, which is done actually pretty nicely. Usually brands skimp on this. San Martin, actually pretty nice polishing here. Obviously, I mean, I think it could be better, but yeah, pretty happy with it compared to something like you see on a Pagani design or something like that. This is way, way better than that. You have brushed on the inners here. Nice to see. You have brushed on the outsides, screw links for adjusting. You have your typical San Martin clasp here, brushed on the tops, brushed on the sides. Nicely polished transition there, as you can see there. For micro adjust, you got just your 2 button pushers here. Everything works extremely well. Yeah, very happy. Brush or solid inner parts of the clasp here. There's no easy link extension or anything like that, so just your your micro adjust holes here. But overall, I think it functions pretty good. I think the decision to use brushed on the outers is a mistake. Fully brushed would have been a lot better. Maybe throw like a polished chamfer on this edge here or something like that, just to match the case here. I think they did this because the Omega has the polished outer links, and I think they did that because they have polished on the tops of the lugs here. So since St. Martin's using brushing on the tops here, I think fully brushed bracelet would have gone quite a bit better. But overall, I think it's a fine bracelet. It's pretty fluid, as you can see here. Doesn't really hang on the wrist or anything like that. I have noticed when I'm pulling it off and putting it on that it will pull some hairs, not while it's on the wrist really. I haven't noticed that, but when I'm pulling it off the wrist or putting it on the wrist, I have noticed hair pulling a little bit. Nothing too bad, but just thought I would mention that. And then I'm going to see if I can replicate it here real quick for you. So anytime I've pulled it, oh, you saw it right there, but there you go. Anytime I've pulled it off of a table, I get these links that kind of hang on each other like this here. It's only when I'm pulling it off a table. So I think it's when it's, folding over on top of itself, you get these things that kind of bind together here. Really easy to undo. You just kind of flex it and it goes right back. But that's just something I've noticed only when I'm pulling it off a table, not when I'm pulling it off of a watch pillow or anything like that, or off my wrist. It never happens on wrist either. So that's just something to be aware of, I guess. Again, if you're someone that leaves your watches on a table or something like that, that's just something you're probably going to have to deal with every morning when you pick it up. So other than that, though, I think the watch bracelet is fine. Yeah, it's definitely not their best bracelet, but it is very comfortable. You see there is a little bit of flex here, but not much. The tolerances here are super tight. You can barely see through the cracks there. And I mean, that's kind of where your binding comes from. But again, on wrist, you never notice the binding. And this bottom edge of the bracelet has been very comfortable for me. I think they've honed these edges down here so they're not sharp or anything like that. My only other gripe with the bracelet is these female end links. They are female, as you can see here, but they definitely don't articulate at all. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. They need to maybe just put a chamfer on the bottom edge of this first link here, and then it would definitely hang down a lot better. Yeah, maybe that's something they can sort out for a version 2 or something, but otherwise I think the bracelet's pretty good. I do wish it was fully brushed. That's really my only major complaint with it. So there you go, guys. That is the St. Martin SN0103 Speedy 57 homage. I absolutely love it. I wanted a blue watch that I could wear every day. This one's got 100 meters of water resistance. I do have to wind it, but I actually kind of enjoy that. So I think they nailed the looks of this thing. It's going to look awesome on straps, especially. Maybe version 2, brush bracelet, guys. Yeah, just think about that, St. Martin. Think about that brush bracelet. But as it is, I think it's an excellent watch. If you guys are interested in this, I'll be leaving a link to this watch down below. That is an affiliate link. Again, huge thank you guys for sticking with me. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Sorry this one has taken a little bit longer than normal to get out. I was suffering with COVID for the last week, so feeling a lot better. Might sound a little funny to you guys, but yeah, feeling much better. Let me know what you guys think of this thing. $330. Is this something that you would pay for this watch? But thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.